Hey there, good morning, everybody. Good morning. So, a little bit of a late start. I was dealing with kids, my little ones who are home from school for Christmas break. They woke up right after I woke up, and yeah, so I've been momming it up for a second, and then I decided I better jump on Conscious Coffee before I actually look like I'm getting ready for the day, and continue this raw approach of starting the day with Conscious Coffee. So here I am, still not fully ready for my day. But it's interesting. This morning, I woke up and I was up until like 2:30 in the morning, working and watching a show. So I was multitasking because I don't ever really watch TV, but there's a couple Netflix series that I actually am enjoying. How to Get Away with Murder I think it's it's a really cool, it's a cool series. So I've been enjoying that, and I sat there just binge watching How to Get Away with Murder and writing up a whole bunch of stuff to announce to you guys for the new year. So that's normally really, really hard for me to multitask like that. I don't do well watching TV and at the same time typing or trying to do follow-up work or creative work. So I was really shocked that I even did that, but I did do it. And that does play a role in what I'm leading into today. So hold on, somebody is popping in here. So as I was sitting there and I was working on things last night, that came about. And then I woke up this morning, like at 7 o'clock. So running on like 4.5 hours sleep here, which is kind of normal for this kind of season. And especially when I'm like in creative energy. Hey, good morning, Addison. Morning, Jason. But as I sat down this morning and was, waiting on my coffee to make and everything, all of a sudden this thought came into my mind, and it's all on our fuck yes and our fuck no, and man versus woman, masculine versus female. And when I say masculine and feminine today, I am truly talking about man and woman. But at the same time, if you are a woman strong in your masculine energy, then you're definitely gonna be operating more like a guy on this. Okay, so I guess I should say masculine, feminist, and masculine, feminine energy, huh? Yeah, that's probably more accurate. Okay, we'll go with the energy aspect of it, because there's definitely personalities as to where we waver within that energy. And I sat down on the couch, and my 19-year-old son, who comes over and gets coffee every morning before he goes to work, he comes in to get his coffee. He's sitting there, and then my 13-year-old son, he got up too, and I just was having all these questions come to mind, because I was thinking about the men in my life, the different guys that I've known through time. And here's the things that Kendall thinks when she wakes up. What does she think about when she first wakes up? Guys. I think about guys. No, not normally. Well, sometimes I do. Sometimes. But this morning, I was thinking about men, and it was actually non-sexual thoughts. So there I am. I'm sitting there, and I just decided to ask my son. I was like, would you agree that guys are better at stating their authentic yes and no than women? And he was like, oh, well, yeah. Women are always, women always throw out a maybe. And that drives us men crazy, because women will go, well, I don't know, maybe. And maybe can mean yes, it can mean no. It can be, it's an indecisive statement. And when he said that, I started to laugh inside, because I just had this maybe conversation with a man that I know that hates the word maybe, absolutely hates the word maybe. And I deliberately tell him maybe, even when I'm a yes, because I don't tell him maybe when I'm a no, but I tell him maybe when I'm a yes, because I know that it fucks with him. So I deliberately play with him with the maybe. And I was realizing, as this kind of all came in, how accurate that is, what we women do. We do say maybe a lot, right? In some way, we are out there and we kind of teeter on that fence. The feminine will teeter on the fence of yes and no. And the masculine is more of, they are either yes or no. They pick the side of the fence a lot easier than what as ladies do. And then I was looking at it from a courting perspective, from a relationship perspective, because I find myself where I will know if I'm a yes or a no with somebody, early on, I will know basically what that relationship turnout is going to be. So if I'm really turned on and connected to that person, I know almost instantaneously if I'm a fuck yes to them or if I'm a fuck no, if I'm a long term or a short term. This is something that I'll know way back there. But then I will just procrastinate it out almost because I want to connect. I want to say it's almost like I'm testing out my own yes or no sometimes I'm feeling with myself. And as I work with women, I see this happen a lot. I see where us ladies will be like, well, yeah, I had a feeling, but I just wanted to kind of explore. You can almost say that women are kind of like cats. We're curious and we want to know if it's accurate. Maybe we don't know necessarily how to definitely follow our yes, and let it be just that, a yes from this front side or a no from the front side. I think a lot of the times we're scared to give our no's as women because we are more compassionate. We want to make sure that we don't hurt somebody's feelings. We don't want to hurt their ego. And yes, I am talking about guys here, or about, dating situations. So we end up doing things sometimes where we don't necessarily want to say no, but we are no. So we're trying to be nice about it. Where guys, I was thinking about my son-in-law. Now he has been around for 6 years now. And I look at him and he courted my daughter for 18 months without her ever giving him any reason to court her. So he connected with her every single day almost for 18 months with a good morning, beautiful. Hope you have I hope that you have a beautiful day. Hope, this. And every single morning he would send her a text early in the day, just wishing her a good day for almost 18 months. They didn't date. She moved out of state during that process. She dated probably 10 other guys over the course of the 18 months because she was just playing around. So she was just doing her thing and she wasn't taking anything serious. She wasn't looking for a serious relationship. Meanwhile, he had set his mark. And he consistently just connected with her. Just sent that connection without it being, nothing sexual, nothing, anything like, but just saying, hey, I'm thinking of you. Hope you're, I hope you're having a great day. Just making that little bit of a connection. And over the course of time, she started to want to talk to him more. So she started to talk to him more. And when she started to talk to him, then I remember her telling me, Mom, there was this moment where she was like, Mom, this guy, I don't know what to do because, and she shared like the things that she was concerned about, but I could tell that she actually moved home. She was living in Hawaii during part of this, and she told me that she was moving home for family. And I now know years later that she did not move home for family. She moved home for her man, and he must have sent her some text one day because it got her to get her ass on a plane and come back to home and so that he could date her, because she was not on the ground in Texas for more than 2 weeks. I don't even think it was 2 weeks. It was like a week when he was in communication with her, and she was like, I'm going to go have lunch with this guy. And I was like, is that the guy that's been texting you all the time? And she's like, yeah, I'm going to go have lunch with him. We're just friends, Mom. We're just friends. She told me that they were friends for about a month. And then finally they went out on a date, and they haven't been apart since that day, since January of whatever year that was. So I look at that and I go, here's a perfect exhibit of the masculine setting its mark and just going for it. Now, I'm not going to say that he wasn't taking care of himself during that 18 months, that he maybe didn't have a couple friends with benefits, that he didn't date other women, but he definitely was not serious about anybody else. That I know now for sure. And I even felt that energy come through back then. On the front side, she wavered for the first probably year of their relationship. She was all over the place, and she was like, I don't know if he's really serious. I don't know if he's really into me. I don't know this. I don't know that. I am losing my voice, aren't I? Okay. Maybe it's just I haven't drank enough coffee. But anyway, so she wavered all over the place, and she questioned his attention. She questioned his daily, courting that he was doing, and because he was slow moving, because he didn't rush into things, because he was not treating her like all the guys that she had played with that was not serious about her. They just were not serious, and they were very obvious about not being serious. He comes along and he treats her completely different, and it made her want to be around him, but at the same time she did this wavering on the outside, but when she talked to me, she was wavering about if it was real from him. And then she would tell me how much she really liked him, how much she really hoped that it was real. So she had kind of made up her mind, but she was uncertain. She was still doing this, right? And my point here is the difference between masculine and feminine. And a lot of classes that I teach, I talk about how the masculine, I have an old partner of mine, he always talked about the masculine being like, oh my goodness, my words just escaped me. Oh, Addison, help me out here. Masculine's like what you throw. Like this is gonna become like a game on here. Anyways, you point the masculine. I'll just go a roundabout way here. You throw the masculine towards something, you point them in the right direction, and typically with a guy, once he is on target and he finds something that he wants to be on target with, he's going to go after it until he hits it. If he falls a little bit short, if he goes past it, it doesn't much matter. He will go directly towards it. He's not going to waver all over the place. When a strong masculine thing, an arrow, yeah, kind of like an arrow. It's a different word, but yeah, kind of like an arrow. You shoot the arrow and the arrow goes towards whatever it is. That's a very strong masculine energy. Masculine energy that is really in its place is going to go directly to what it is desiring, what it is wanting. The feminine on the other side, us ladies over here in general, now some men are very feminine and do this too, but that is the feminine energy. The feminine energy is one that is more like the ocean. It is very fluid. It is flowing. We're all over the place. We're indecisive. We're in maybe land a lot. And I always tell people, I'm like, as women, half the time we don't know what the fuck we want anyway. And that's not your fault. It's not anybody's fault. That's just what's going on in here. Like, we're constantly changing. It really is like an ocean. Sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to do that. And then ask me a half an hour later and I could change my mind. I could be like, well, no, I'm just not feeling it anymore. So that happens with us, but at the same time with our flow, there is this underlying current of knowing. And when us ladies get on point to that underlying current of knowing, then all of a sudden we start to clear our seas, you could say, and we start to realize that, hey, this is actually where we want to go. And then we will narrow that down almost into that spillway idea, right? Down into the dam and really focus that energy down to one point. But men, it is so much easier. It is so much easier as I look at it and I started to analyze this, and as I was talking to my eldest son and everything, and I was just thinking about it and then looking at the men in my life. One of the biggest issues, and I actually had an argument with a guy here, a fellow practitioner, teacher, educator, and he got really pissed off at me for being in my feminine and missing the mark, you could say. I missed the mark on a call. I just got sidetracked, forgot about it, missed the messages, and completely flaked on him on a phone call, which pissed him off to no end, and he took it very personal. It's like, you're not in integrity. And that's where I'm going with this. Masculine, feminine authenticity. Our fuck yes, our fuck no. Guys can stay a yes, and they can stick to it, and they can be a yes, and they may not directly say yes, like be outward, but they know, and they will take action toward that yes or that no, okay? And typically what I see with a guy, if he's a no, he's just a no. There's no fucking around over there. I see a strong masculine, and when a strong masculine says no, they're just like, no, nope. And they have no problem with just severing shit and with just moving on and completely putting their focus someplace else and turning and just going away from what they are a no with. And they will move towards what they are more like, hey, I'm going to check this out. I over here, or I'm a fuck yes over here. Us ladies, we go fuck no to that, and then we're like, oh, but I gotta take care of that person. Like, I don't want them to feel bad that I'm a no. I'm a no to that scenario, but I need to explain. I want them to understand. I want them to feel good about my no. They're not gonna feel good. Like, if we're dealing with a relationship, they're probably not gonna feel good, okay? They're not. It's just gonna be that's the scenario, right? But we have this thing inside of us. We're like, oh, let me take care of you. Let me take care of you as I'm saying no, right? It's the same thing that we do with our children. Even we tell our children, no, you can't have that, but then we go, no, it's okay. Or guys, it's like, no, you can't have that. Get over it. go on. And then you have that translated over to, so you have authentic yes and you have authentic no. You have masculine and you have feminine versions of that. And then you have how that translates over to this big word of integrity that I certainly use a lot of, because I want to remain in integrity the best possible way that I can, right? And I am always teaching people how to be in integrity. So when you have the masculine and feminine version of integrity, if a man is stating his no authentically and he can just say no and drop it and move on, and a woman is going, oh, let me take care of that, well, then we move into the integrity, and it makes it kind of seem, and I would now, as I'm looking at this argument that I had with this man a while back about him saying, well, you're just not in integrity, and I'm going, yeah, I fucked up. Like, I fucked up. I was in my flow. I've got 1,000,001 things going, and I just missed the mark. I'm sorry, but you know what? That conversation wasn't high on my priority list. So I missed that, and he took that as a lack of integrity. And he said, this is the problem with feminine integrity. And at first, my ego was like, motherfucker, right? Like, I was like, I want to drive down there. My masculine wanted to come out and wanted to fight. And because I was like, I'm not out of integrity, I missed that. I just stated this. And he's like, but if you said this, then you need to stick with that. And I'm going, yeah, well, I'm not sticking with it. Now I'm not going to stick with it, because now that we're arguing here, I'm getting a different feeling. So like, I was playing with that energy, right? And I started getting a different feeling. So on the front side, I was like, good opportunity. A month before, it was good opportunity, good this, good that. I'm going to lean in. I'm going to say yes. Life took over, flow took over, the ocean, everything inside of my feminine being kind of took over. And I completely forgot. And then as I felt in, the interesting thing, even on the front side, I remember with this particular event, as I felt into it, there was something inside of me that did not feel lined up. But I was like, it's a good opportunity, it's a good this, it's a good that, you know. So I was trying to justify being a yes, and I had told him yes, and I was trying to stay to that, and I was like, no, this will be good for my business, this will be good for this will be good for this, you know, networking, right? We all want to network. So I kind of leaned over there and I was telling him yes, but then even in that moment, I was like, something's not right. I didn't really like the guy. Like, I really didn't like him. There was just something that was just like, yeah. And what I noticed was that full circle, what I was getting from him as I came into this now heated conversation with him about integrity, I realized, you know what? I've been a no the entire time. And I've kind of been out here dancing around going, well, oh, I forgot this, and oh, I didn't pay attention. The reason why I believe that I was forgetful on that was because I knew that I was no, but I didn't know how to fully step into my no in that moment. Because as the feminine, it's more like, I know a man who always says that I remind him of Alice in Wonderland, that I'm very, you know, it's that nature to want to go explore. And it is this spinning of, I want to play with the energy, and I think Addison put it on here, just play with the energy and see. And that is exactly right. Like, I want to play with the energy and I want to see. So if I'm a no to something, or I feel like there's just something off, which normally means that I'm a no and I'm just not picking up on it, is that I want to play with it, and I want to confirm that I'm a no. And then as I get fed these little things, I want to confirm, oh, nope, I felt this. Nope, I felt that. Ooh, yeah, no, I am a no. Oh, I'm a no there. Oh, I'm no there. So I'm looking for evidence as to yes or no. And as that builds, it helps me to actually make my authentic answer. Point of this whole thing, though, is, man, I'm fucking jealous of guys. I'm really jealous. I woke up this morning jealous of men. I woke up jealous because it's so much easier for a guy just to say no and move on, or to say no that he's a yes and just hold to the mark, where us women don't have that luxury of being that clear. Now, I can hear you guys going out there, well, it's not that fucking hard, Kendal. Just say yes or say no and stick with it and mean it. And what's the big deal, right? Like, what's the big deal? Just be a no if you're a no and be a yes if you're a yes. Yeah, not a guy, nor do I think that any of the men in my life would want me to be a guy. That's not the way the feminine works. We are more emotional based. We are going to be like the ocean. We're going to drive you men crazy with our maybes, with our playing with the energy, and feeling out exactly what our authentic yes and our authentic no is. And that's kind of just the way women work. Now, ladies in the feminine, here's the thing that I have come to realize just this morning, this great big whoo thing, is that we could really help ourselves. We could really help ourselves if we paid attention to that first inclination of it being a yes or a no. And if we don't catch it on the first, catch it by the third, right? So the third time that we get this, no, you're actually a no to that. You're actually a no. Speak that instead of dragging it on and doing the little cat and mouse shit with a negative energy. Don't go back consistently to just test the waters when you know for sure that you're already a no. Okay? Time out. I have a kid at my door. Okay, I'm back. Okay. They're making me coffee. My 4-year-old is making me coffee. We'll see how that goes. So we're going to get interrupted here. Hold on, Addison. Occasionally the playing of energy does change our answer as we learn and explore ourselves. Yes, absolutely, it does. Sometimes it does change our answer. Sometimes we will feel like it is a no on the front side, and then we move down and we're like, well, actually, right? And I have Michael feeling through the emotional barometer of integrity for the yes or no that feels aligned, still learning. And it really, my point is that often what happens with us in the feminine energy, okay, and it really is the feminine energy, which makes us, the more feminine of an energy you might be displaying, the more flighty it's going to feel, okay? So it's going to feel that the feminine energy being the creative energy, being that energy of like the ocean, of the wind, and it just kind of flows this way. I mean, we really are more like a dance. The woman is the reason why we get spun in dances, like take the tango, the salsa, we're spinning, we're moving, and it is the woman that is on display, and we are moving around, right? We are the ones moving around. The guy is leading. He is the one who is the lead in the dance because he is that anchor, okay? He has to be unwavering, and he has to know what direction to take the woman and how to move her so that she can let her energy be displayed and released properly on the dance floor. that is exactly the same in relationship and in life. Because as women, we kind of just move around like this when we're strong in the feminine. There's a lot of creative energy. So when we have that drop of masculine energy in us, is that driving, that anchor that we have within ourselves. But at the same time, when we have a strong masculine energy in our life, that masculine energy has to also be that anchor and help us be a little less unwavering, help guide us here and guide us there. I know that when I have a strong masculine lead in my life, that I get a lot more done. I actually am more creative. I'm more on point. I have somehow my world starts to work out a little bit better because I will get shit accomplished, and at the same time I will be extremely in my feminine energy. So I will feel giddy. I call it like that little schoolgirl. I'll be like, man, I feel really, really blonde in those moments when a strong masculine is around me. I get more giddy. I get more carefree. I get more open. I want to be spun. It's kind of like, I'm like, no, let me be on display for you. Like help me to move through this. Where when I don't have a strong masculine in my life, I'm now taking up that masculine. I have to create that masculine energy for myself, which means now I have a divide within myself as a woman, okay? So then I have this divide because I'm now trying to operate as my man and as my woman, and I'm trying to balance that out, and it's really fucking hard to spin yourself. It can be done, but you will burn yourself out, so it's important to have that masculine in there. Being a yes or no to the right masculine, though, that's like a really good relationship question of how can you be a yes or a no to the right masculine. And the right masculine, it's like that's that feeling right here, right? So on that front side, you might be like, hey, I'm a fuck yes to this energy. And then as you read down into it and you give yourself 2, 3, 4 experiences, you play with that energy, then you might go, well, I thought that this was the right energy for me, but it's really not. Because when you have that right energy come in, it's almost undenying. And I've had these moments with men in my past where there was just this very few strong enough masculines that could hold my feminine energy and really pull that creative spark out of me. But when I do run into one of those masculine energies that holds me in the way that I need to be held, I can't help it. I want to kind of like clear the slate, and then a little bit of masculine inside of me goes, no, we're going towards that. Like at all costs, we're going to go towards that because it feeds the feminine energy. It feeds it by helping it spin properly and really, achieving this beautiful dance versus this dance that's kind of scattered and all over the place. Hey, Leon, what do you say? I think being in the gray area between yes and no is also cool. It allows me to dive deeper into my contemplative faculty and allows me to tap into my feelings that are connected to my indecisiveness. Oh yeah, there's definitely a space for gray. I think that we live in gray a lot, and that living in that gray is that teetering spot, being on the fence and exploring it. So it's just, if you, my comment to that, because as long as you are actually contemplating, if you are actually inquiring within yourself, deep diving back in yourself to rediscover what is going on and where your yes and your no is, that's great. The biggest issue that I see in us human beings over and over again, and just in my experience with masculine and feminine and in relationship especially, is that we tend to sit down into the gray, and then we get very comfortable. We'll set up shop right there in this gray zone, and we don't ever want to really make a committed yes or a committed no. Getting interrupted for coffee. Hey, baby. Thank you. Let mommy finish, okay, boys? What? I'm doing my conscious coffee. You're gonna come and say hello? Okay. Can you shut the door if you guys are gonna be in here? Okay, so we're getting overtaken by munchkins, by my munchkins this morning. Okay. So Gabriel and Rowan are now here. Just don't knock over mom's stuff, okay?
I like your phone.
Okay. I need you guys to be quiet and let me finish this. Okay. Okay. See, say hi. Say hi. Wave. Say hi. You want to say hi? Oh no, Gabe's not gonna say hi. Rowan's here though. Okay, so, oh, wait. One more thing. It's okay. I'll finish with that. Thank you. Huh? No.
I like the barbecue chips.
They're asking for barbecue chips for breakfast.
Barbecue chips.
All right.
Barbecue chips.
No. No. Okay. So, all right, Michael, sometimes the deep dive inward is quicksand for me. Uncle Michael says, hi, Ro. Hi, Gabe. Okay, so, yeah, the deep dive inward can definitely be quicksand, but it's one of those things that sometimes you do have to deep dive. I mean, Leon brought up a good point. It's just being conscious of what is going on and catching yourself that you are actually in the gray, and then realizing that sometimes in the gray you can sit there, but the longer you sit in the gray, the longer you push out the inevitable decision that you have to make. So you can try to figure out if for a certain time frame, but just realize that you need to kind of condense that down. I mean, the longer we take to become our authentic yes or no that we might have felt on the front side, bless you, the longer you take on the front side over time to really become that yes or no, then you're kind of dragging stuff out as well, right? And the more you drag that out, then the more you build in a lot more complexity, a lot more drama into the situation, versus that strong masculine that I was talking about on the front side that just is like, I'm a no to that, so I'm just going to be a no, and can turn around and go no and move that direction with ease, and there's just less drama, which is probably why you experience it. Like, us women, we have men have less drama in their lives than women. Gentlemen, take your croissants someplace else. We're not having a discussion here. They went and got croissants.
No, I got a croissant.
My 4-year-old got a croissant.
No, I'm still 3.
You're still 3, almost 4. Okay. So it is really just looking at how deep you can dive without completely crashing into that quicksand, I would say, and realizing that in those moments what you need to do is kind of set like a timeline. Like, give yourself sometimes, and it depends on the situation, right? Like, let's take relationship, because I kind of started this off with the concept of relationship, talking about my daughter. And I would say that, on the front side of relationship, number one, don't go hard and serious with somebody on the front side and completely just become that person's one and only until you give yourself options, until you start to kind of get on the front side and see, hey, does this person have certain things that I can get on board with? I see a lot of people that get exclusive after date number 2 or 3. And I think that that's crazy, in my opinion. I think, no, on date 2, 3, crap, for quite some time, probably that first 90 days of relationship, you should probably keep yourself kind of open, continue to date multiples, because you don't know this person. So why are you knocking down everything for somebody that you might actually find out that you really are polar opposites with really quickly? I'm more of the play the market person for a time frame, and then slowly condense yourself down like this, narrow it down until you are like, okay, now we're in this far and I'm starting to feel this, and we've been through some crap. And there's going to be people that, I would say definitely if you're more in tune to, I'm moving this because they're now jumping on my bed. So we're going to come over here. We're going to just set this down right here, and I'll just finish just standing up. Go get my coffee for me, baby. Please. There we go. I have to move things. So, and I mean, that mindset, I know that a lot of people might disagree with the whole playing the field concept on the front side of dating, but I can tell you that, oh, don't worry about it then. But it is important, because what I see a lot is that in relationship especially, we tend to sell out way before we should sell out. And that sellout on that front side, and I'm talking literally, like I see people, like I said, I see people sell out on date 2, 3, 4. You know, they're not even a month into the relationship and they're like, man, we're exclusive, we're gonna move in together. And I've had some experiences in my past. I just go, that's not going to be healthy. Like, you do not know somebody. We have new relationship.
Come over on this side. Come over on this side.
They're gonna have fun. You have new relationship energy that lasts like 18 months to 3 years, okay? And by the time 3 years in a relationship is over, that new relationship energy is just washed out. Now, after 18 months, you really, truly are seeing the person that you've been dating, okay? You're really getting in there. You've been through some different things. You've met their families. You've been through, you know, job stuff, money stuff, health stuff, a pet died, kids stuff, you know, all this different stuff. You've had different conversations. Boys, no. You've had different conversations. And invasion of kids this morning. And you really need to do, you know, like after that 18 months, it is the whole really seeing who they are. And that's why a lot of relationships will last a year to 18 months, maybe 2 years, that newlywed phase, right? That honeymoon phase. And then all of a sudden, it goes poof. And that's because the true people come out. Okay, another timeout. I'm kicking them outside. All right, outside. No. No. Go. Gamer, out. Go. All right, then if you're in here, then we're going to be nice, okay? Ay, ay, ay. Okay. So he's being grumpy. I got to make this quick. But after that 18 months to 2 years, you see a whole bunch of relationships that typically just don't make it past that point. I've had a lot of relationships that I see significant change within my own relationships after 6 months. And then after a year, there's even more change. And I'll feel like that energy, because as you start to show up really, truly, authentically for that person, you can't hold that anymore. Then all of a sudden you start to go, oh, I'm really not in love with this aspect of this person. I'm really not digging this aspect of that person. I'm really not here. I'm really not there. And here's the thing. This is what men in general will kind of make their decision on the front side, and they'll be like, I'm a yes to this. And then sometimes, a lot of times, they buy into this package with the woman, with the feminine energy. And then the feminine energy gets to that 18 months, 2 years, and she's doing this, right? She's like, okay, yeah, I'm a yes, but her yes actually means maybe, or she's a maybe, and her yes and her maybe is, well, I'm going to play with this and see if it changes, which means that it's actually a no. And then you get to that 18 months to 2 years, and all of a sudden things have shifted. They've shifted around, and all of a sudden he starts to see her truth, and she starts to feel her truth more, and then poof, shit happens, right? So there is this in-between ground where making a hasty yes or no can be bad. That's why bring that yes or no. I mean, I can see that the point I'm trying to make here is that there's this balance, right? Think yin yang. There is a balance between the masculine and the feminine. And definitely, if you're a fuck no to something on the front side, be a fuck no to it. Because that no, more than likely, is not going to change. But that means that it is like a definite, like, no. There's just people where, you know, like you'll look at a person. Have you ever met this person, like where you see a person and you're like, oh God, that person just completely just makes you go, no. I would not say go and date that person for 6 months, because that no is going to be a no, no matter what. So just allow yourself to be that no.
I took that this tiny bite.
I've got a way to get rid of it. Here, take that to the kitchen. Take that to the kitchen. Go eat at the table. Yep, eat at the table and let mommy finish. Thank you. Bye-bye. They just got treated. We made cookies last night, and they got to decorate their cookies, and I just was like, here, take your half a cookie that you didn't eat last night and go in there. So there is this dance between the masculine and feminine, that perfect balance, that harmony of that if you're a fuck no, then be a fuck no. If you feel that you are maybe possibly a no, you might want to play with that. You might want to get into that gray land and to explore and see if that changes, if it's just something that you're not necessarily, you know, in alignment to in that moment, because things can change, as Addison was talking about. Like, you play with the energy and you see if it can change. And sometimes that does happen. It happens actually a lot. But then there is those moments when you are a fuck yes to it and you want to deep dive into it, but you need to put the brakes on. You need to put the brakes on, because especially in relationship, because of new relationship energy, it is vitally important to kind of go, whoa, I want to push this out a little bit. I'm going to dance with it. I'm going to see what the dance is like from the next 18 months to 2 years before I actually commit to something, before I become exclusive, before I get married, before I move in, before I do these kinds of things, because those kinds of big commitment things can make massive drama in your life if you jump the gun a little bit too quick, which would mean 18 months to 2 years, because the feminine energy is the feminine energy. And we're like this, right? Okay, guys, this is really good relationship advice for you. Don't deep dive with the woman for at least 2 years. Okay, Jesus, and make sure that you're connecting with her. So, and that connection means getting to know her, getting to experience her in different ways, okay? And ladies, that goes for you too. Like, allow yourself to really explore that guy. But on the front side, be willing to explore and test the waters as much as you possibly can, because the quicker you can get to your authentic yes and your authentic no, the less drama you're going to actually have in the long-term scenario, which is where that masculine energy comes in and helps us to guide us to our authentic yes and our authentic no. This whole conscious coffee like went completely this way, and I was just thinking about how great guys are, you know, on making their yeses and making their nos, and I was gonna make this really cool point, and now we're off on relationship yeses and nos and everything. Everything happens for a reason, right? Welcome to the feminine energy, which I happen to be like just basking in over the last little bit here. So I'm kind of scattered, flighty in my feminine, spinning energy all over the place. Welcome to Conscious Coffee on feminine energy. It just kind of goes. We stayed for the most part on topic, talking about feminine and masculine energy. So I'm going to just be proud of myself for doing that. And the point really comes back to feel your yes, feel your no. If you're a maybe, you're probably a woman. If you're a maybe, I know that men can be a maybe too. That's definitely in your vocabulary, as my son so kindly pointed out. Maybe's in our vocabulary too, Mom. Then try practicing that authentic relating according to that. And that authentic relating that you put out to the world needs to happen inside first off. Really, truly go in, pause, and feel yourself. If you're a fuck no, go, am I really a fuck no to this? Yeah, I am. That person really sets me off. Yeah, that job completely makes me want to throw up. You know, it's just like, it's not cool. Why does it make me want to throw up? Why am I getting this feeling? Why do I have tension? Is it because I'm scared to push through here? Or is it because I'm really truly not in line to this? Okay? To ask yourself those things. And then on relationship, on jobs, on family choices, on, you know, on life-based choices, is really important to inquire within yourself before you make that decision. But pay attention to that front decision, what that initial 3-second feeling is. When you come into contact with a new experience, a new person, that first 3 seconds, guys, you kind of know, your soul is going to let you know if you are a yes or a no to it. Okay? So just stop and pause, feel into it. But don't feel into it for 2 years and get yourself into a really nasty situation, okay? Because the more you get into that, the more you get into that, the more drama and trauma you're going to be causing. So constantly, like, if you are exploring something, and we're going to keep this on relationship, if you are exploring something, try to keep a little bit of a distance, but vocalize what you're doing. Okay, those people that go out there and go, oh yeah, baby, I'm going to be exclusive and I've only known you for 2 dates. No, run the other way. Okay, there's probably something wrong with them to want to be exclusive that quickly. if you have energy there, if you have knowledge there, you know this person and you've built that relationship, and there's lots of stuff there. Now you can build up to that exclusivity. Now you can build into a depth. You can step your way into that relationship, but kind of keep your foot on the pause button a little bit until you are an unresounding fuck yes. And if that fuck yes comes up, now you're a fuck yes. Now your spirit is going, hey, this is soul alignment. You need to pay attention to this. And if you think back, and this is where kind of like one of those feelings that I had this morning as I was thinking about my son-in-law and my daughter, and I was thinking about other things, and then I started analyzing my own relationships. I realized the relationships that I was a fuck yes to on the front side, and the relationships I was a fuck no to on the front side, and what happened in the process of that. And when you're truly a fuck no to something, what you're going to find out is that no matter how long time goes, how far down the road you get with this fuck no person in your life, you're still going to be a fuck no. Something inside of you is never going to line up with them, and you're never going to reach that state of happiness with them because you are a fuck no. So don't try to make it something that it's not. Just allow it to be what it is. Enjoy the dance while it's there, and as soon as it becomes a definite to you, where it's screaming at you, move on. Just move on. Pull out your masculine energy, girls, and move on. And if you're a guy, hold to that masculine energy and go make that mark right where you need to. So I hope that this was helpful. I know that it was a little bit scattered. Good conversation though about masculine and feminine. Maybe you guys out there who think that as women can be different than what we are can now maybe realize, like, hey, we're not lying to you. We really are like all over the place. Think of us like the ocean, okay? It really is. As ladies who are in the feminine, you love us in our feminine. You don't want the men who want us in our feminine, love us in our feminine, really don't want us in the masculine. I know that we drive you crazy. I know that we test the shit out of you with our maybes and our this and our that, and I don't know what I want for dinner, whole scenario, and does this make me look fat? Yes, yes, yes. All that crazy shit that us girls do, that's just that feminine energy trying to be revealed, and you wouldn't want it to not be there because you don't want to date another masculine energy, okay? So, allow us to be a woman. Guys, be guys. Make your positive yes and your no out there. State that truth. Be in integrity as much as possible. As soon as you know it, for sure, ladies, as soon as you know it, state that authentic yes or that authentic no. So, as always, you can follow me at www.kendalwilliams.com. If this conversation, as crazy and scattered as it has been throughout here in its feminine nature this morning, if it touched you at all, if it brought some questions up, if you have a statement, if you're a yes or a no to it, if it just made you really realize your yes and no, go ahead and hit the share button. Thank you all for your love this morning, your comments and everything. I'm going to go through, and the ones that I see more on, I'm going to go ahead and read those as soon as I'm done here. And as always, stop existing, start living. And if you are interested, today or tomorrow, I'm going to be launching a course, an online academy. It is an online academy with 69 training videos, a whole bunch of downloads, a whole bunch of stuff. It's called His, Hers, and Ours. And it is 69 live recorded videos to help you achieve the relationship that you have always desired. It is built especially for singles and for couples. So yeah, so hey guys, you want to learn more about the feminine? I got you covered. Ladies, you want to learn more about the feminine and the masculine? I got you covered. Couples, you want to know how to ignite your relationship? You want to know how to really pull that communication back together? You want to know some tantric secrets? Well, that's in this academy. All of this is there. It is designed for every single person who wants to be in relationship or who is in relationship. It doesn't matter where your relationship is at. Oh, look at that. Yes, and it's on my programs page. Thank you, Addison, for putting it there. And it will be coming out shortly. So make sure that you go explore that today, later today. Go check that out and take advantage of it while it is on sale, because it is on a humongous special. The content in this academy is worth over $2,000. If you were to sit down with me and do the training that this over 8 hours, I believe, of training on this academy is, it would cost you well over $2,000 of in-office time with me. And so I'm valuing it at $500. But guess what? It's Christmas and it's New Year's, so it is nowhere near $500. Yes, Christmas tree. Nowhere near $500. It is just a little itty bitty baby price, but you'll have to go read it to find out. So I will catch you tomorrow morning with another Conscious Coffee and my hand out of my son's hand. All right.